innovative content, global audience.
Yes, my people, my name is Daddy Kris. This is One-on-One with Daddy Kris. Nigeria is too rich. In fact, we are too rich to be poor. We have too many fertile land to live, to go to bed hungry. Let's put it that way. The situation is unacceptable. Every Nigerian, even the government, I think they're doing their best. It comes a time where we need to put our destiny or take our destiny into our hands. And people are acting. Things are happening. I am impressed, honestly. And what I'm going to share with you tonight is something I've never had the privilege of sharing. Never. And I hope I have the privilege to share this again and again. Today, I have a special guest. Somebody who has been able to craft a holistic solution to the Nigerian challenges. What is it? The first thing we need in Nigeria today is be able to put food on the table. Unfortunately, with all the fertile land, with every human resource we have, we've not been able to coordinate it. But a guy has done something wonderful. He has put together a package, and I'll be introducing him to you tonight. His name is Benjamin ADULI. Benjamin, you're welcome to One-on-One with Daddy Kris.
Thank you very much, Daddy Kris. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you very much.
Yes, your headdress is a little bit challenging, but we're going to go with it simply and squarely. So, Sir Benjamin, no, when I read about your profile, I was saying, hey, where have you been? We need you. What is going on? Please tell my audience who you are and what you do.
Thank you very much, sir. My name is Benjamin ADULI. I founded and run an organization called MECHANIZED Agricultural Investment and Services Limited. We were incorporated in 2010, and we set out with a mission. A singular mission is, how do you convert a subsistence farmer to a commercial and mechanized farmer? The reason was simple. We find out that over 95% of Nigerian agriculture, as far back as 2010, was subsistence farming. So we said, no, if we must move, we must turn this into a business. That was what we started to do, and we started the journey back in 2010.
Since 2010, I'm going to follow two things here. One interesting thing is, we don't have shortages of farmers in the country. My parents were farmers. They've been farming. It's just we've not done it in the real way, because it takes, in the UK, only a few people, only maybe 3% are farming. In Nigeria, where about 40% are farming, we don't have food on the table. Perhaps that is the reason for your mission. Am I right?
You are very correct. In Nigeria, we don't have shortage of farmers. But the problem is, majority of the farmers are farming to eat. If there's a remainder, they will sell.
Yes.
But what we set out to do was to turn the equation around and turn them to farmers who are farming to sell. If there's a remainder, they can eat. That's the difference. Farming as a business. We call it agribusiness. It's not just farming because you want to eat, no, but farming because it's a business and you must be profitable. That's the difference in what we're doing.
Yes. Hopefully a day will come when a farmer in Nigeria will have his right place in society, because a farmer does not have to be a poor man. I was telling my guests one day, will any of you want to marry a farmer? That will be a topic for later. But let us look at this. Look at your vision. The timing cannot be better. This is a time when Nigerians, we are hungry and there's no food on the table. We import all kinds of food. We import rice. We import anything that we can actually, and we have the best land. What do you, before we actually talk about your package, what you have in stock for us, why do you think it has been so? Could it be government decision, or that this lack of mechanized farming, like you already mentioned? Why are we still lacking? How could a country like Nigeria that have the most fertile land, have the most intelligent people, still import food?
Now, the challenge is not being able to put together a value chain that can produce food. I'll give some example. 45% of tomatoes grown in Nigeria are wasted through post-harvest loss. What it
Okay.
means is that for every 100 basket of tomatoes grown,
For instance, yes.
45 never gets to the market because the process of harvesting them is wasted. That is just tomato. The same is happening in all other crops. So
I'm
the
sure
issue
yam
is
too.
not food
Yes.
production. Same thing with yam. Same thing with cassava. Same thing with pepper. The problem is not production. The problem is, do you have the infrastructure? Do you have the power? Do you have the crates? Do you have the road network? Do you have the type of vehicle to transport the goods? Do you have the road to transport it from the farm? If you know the volume of food that are produced in Nigeria and are roasted and are rotting in the farm because there is no transportation means to move them from the farm to the cities where they are needed. So it is not production. I'm repeating it again. Production is there, but the infrastructure, the ecosystem to connect from production to value add and then get it to the table is what is lacking, because over the years that has been the purview of government, that has been the responsibility of government, and the government haven't done a good job of putting those infrastructure together. But it's only when the private sector now begin to say, you know what, this will never come, let's begin to build the ecosystem ourselves, that is when you now begin to see some improvement. So there are a lot of infrastructural challenges. There are no cold rooms. There are no refrigeration system to store the food. There are no, so all of that, because of that, they are waste generated. So the waste that comes out is unbelievable.
All right. So now, thank you very much, because today, like I said, if you're watching this show, you need to put your pen down and write, because this man, he has it all, and I'm not joking. But I'm going to talk about. Let's go into what I really want to hear from you: rice production and the package you put together. Tell us about it in details. Where I'm quiet. Just tell us the details of what you put together. Why you think your plan will solve our problem in today's Nigeria.
All right. Haven't find out what the problem is. We first of all choose to define who is a small scale farmer. In our ecosystem, therefore, a small scale farmer is a farmer who is farming 2 hectares of land and is able to put together a working capital between 5 and 10 million naira. That's a definition of a small scale farmer. And so, therefore, we started profiling the farmers to say, how do we help these farmers to migrate from subsistence farming to become a commercial and mechanized farmer?
Good. Interesting. How do we do that?
Now, over the years, first, we have been able to identify the 3 problems of a small-scale farmer in Nigeria. 1 is access to capital. 2 is access to technologies. And 3 is access to market. So the solution is simple. First, he must have cheap and patient capital. Daddy, take the note of those 2 words. Cheap and patient
capital.
Now, Nigerian banks offer money, but the money comes too expensive because they charge you interest of 28, 30, 32%. A farmer cannot survive with that kind of price.
Of course.
Number 1. Number 2 is patient capital. Patient capital. You need to have time to plant, to water, and to grow. So our average transaction, therefore, is a farmer needs a 5-year loan program because he needs to do plant, water, harvest, and build your capital. So our average expectation, therefore, is farmers must be able to have access to cheap and patient capital. Once they do that, then the next factor is production cost and production technology. The era of cutlass and hoe farming is gone. The world has gone mechanized. But Nigeria has not gone mechanized. The bushes are there. There are no tractors to mechanize them. People are still doing cutlass and hoe farming. It's not going to work. So therefore, we then put together a mechanization program where we're working with a partner called Hello Tractor. What is the model? It's simple. Uber for tractors. You know the way the Uber revolutionized the taxi market all over the world. That's the way a company came to Nigeria, a US company, by the way, set up what we call Hello Tractor. It's like a farmer does not need to buy a tractor. Because what are you going to do? Where would the farmer get $27,000 or $30,000 to buy a tractor? He can't afford it. So what we then did was put together, working with Hello Tractor, we put together a system where a farmer just uses a tractor just the way you use a taxi and it moves from one place to the other. The tractor just come, feed your farm for you, and go away. You don't have to bother yourself about how the tractor got fueled, how the driver operates, when the piston go wrong, when the rods go wrong. But that's not your business. You are a farmer. A tractor man comes, offers services, and then goes away. That is tractor for as a service. And the same way also, we design irrigation as a service. So you don't need to go into massive infrastructure. When you do irrigation, it's provided for you as a service. Other farm management tools, geo mapping, satellite mapping, that can remotely give you your soil texture and tell you, look, Daddy, let me check you. Most of what we do in Nigeria is what we call blind farming. You know what blind farming is? You go and clear the land, and you go to night vigil and pray, oh God, I beg you, this thing should work, fine. You plant.
They go to church to pray.
It is blind farming. No data, no information. It's just God. God has given you good land. Do what you need to do. So our approach is simple. First, we test the soil. We find out what is the component of the soil, what is missing. So we don't waste energy buying what we already have on the soil.
Yes.
And our technology can remotely, I said remotely, which is without visiting the farm, I can test the soil remotely from Abuja or from Lagos. And I will tell you the content of the soil, what you can plant, what you cannot plant. And then I will give you the data. No, I'm not finished yet. I will give you the data of when rain will fall, when sun will shine, throughout the year. And
that is what your Oyibo wish. That is what we call Oyibo wish. Go, sir. Go.
So once you have, so we're talking therefore about data-driven farming, not farming because I'm not saying it's not good to pray, but do your own work first. Make God see what you go bless. Because when you don't do your own work, which one God go bless inside?
You didn't say God. Now God, look God trouble. In fact, listen. Okay, you see, this is one of the most exciting days. I'm excited already. But listen, I am a person. I'm a farmer. I have a small acres of land, and I want to do this. How do I start?
All right. Now, our farming program is done within the cooperative framework. It's important that, therefore, you join either you join existing cooperative or form one, because we must organize the farmers into a cluster. It's cluster because it is easier for us to provide services to a group of farmers within a cluster than just going just one farmer who has 2 or 3 hectares. So once you form a cluster of farmers, 20, 30, 50, depending on how many you are, you aggregate your land under a geographical cluster, a workspace, then it becomes easier. That way, it's easier for us to offer you tractor service as a cluster, irrigation as a cluster, mechanization as a cluster, harvesting also as a cluster. So it is that aggregation that is key. I'll tell you what, brother. We have worked in the past 14 years to organize over 3 million farmers into clusters across 24 states in Nigeria.
Wow.
So once you therefore indicate interest, we can refer you to any of the clusters closer to you.
Wonderful.
You join the cluster, it becomes easier for us to supply fertilizers to you within the cluster, provide mechanization service within the cluster, provide irrigation service within the cluster. Also decide what you are going to farm, because for now it's contract farming, which is you are not just going to go and plant, and after planting you harvest, and then you go to market to begin to look for who will buy. No, that's a big problem, because the Nigerian middlemen are heartless. You know what I mean by
Agree.
that?
Yes.
Greed is a big problem.
Agree.
I'll give you an example. Catfish farming. The biggest problem of catfish farmers in Nigeria is the middleman.
Okay.
Because they know that if you feed the fish for 6 months, you must sell. They will monitor you on 2 weeks to the end of when you're supposed to harvest. Nobody will come. They'll move away. Because they know that once it's harvest time, they are not there, you're under pressure. They will give you 2 weeks. When you have fed the fish for another 2 or 3 weeks, you are now desperate to sell. They will come. They will underprice you. If you kill the business, who will farm again the next day, the next season? So our approach, therefore, is anything you are farming, there is a contract off taker before you start to farm. So on the day of harvest, we are taking it off you and we'll take it to the market. That way, you are guaranteed that whatever you farm, there's market for it.
There's market for it. Whoa. Okay. I'm gonna go 2 ways. What is it for this to work? Because I can see what you put together. Do you have the support of the communities and do you have the support of the government? Because these are two angles. I know it's private sector driven. You definitely need to put a cluster together, so you need some community network here. And again, you need the government to provide some road, to provide some basic. And in terms of the loan, you mentioned a very important thing here. You understand? I'm not going to be able to use your word correctly, but the loan should be the one that will not give not a pressured loan. You understand? Because you're pressureless. How are these two areas covered in your plans? Is the Nigerian environment ready for this?
All right. Now, let's talk about the government side first. Then I'll talk about the community side. When we started, the government didn't fully understand what we were doing, but we have built some ecosystem, and I think the government is taking us more seriously. We are currently discussing with the federal government, and so far the response we are getting is quite impressive. I was quite happy when the president declared a national emergency on food. I'm not sure if they have a clear plan as to what to do, but that declaration was good because it focused both local and international energy into the food sector. Now, the next thing is taking that declaration and operationalize it by actually putting together a strategic plan in place, which I think they are working to do it. So we are discussing with the president, the office of the special advisor to the president now, to do a pilot with rice farming.
Okay.
What we promised that office is that if you support us to empower 200,000 rice farmers on our network, we would, within the next 7 months, crash the price of rice by at least 50%. How do we do that?
Okay.
It's simple. If you empower 200,000 farmers to farm 2 hectares of rice, that is 400,000 hectares of rice farming.
Yes.
400,000 hectares of rice farming at an average yield of just 3.7 to 3.8 tons per hectare will give us over 2.2 million bags of 50 kg rice in a year, assuming we're doing just 2 farming cycles. Rice is a 3 months crop.
Okay.
So 2 months farming cycle is very realistic. Daddy, if I put 2.2 million bags of 50 kg rice in the market in Nigeria, the price will drop. It is not rocket science.
Yes.
It's not rocket science.
Yes.
So,
no, of course.
So what we are advocating is production-based price control. You can't control price by fiat law. No, because you don't have the input, the production input. It must be production-driven. When there is enough produce in the market, naturally price will come down.
That's fact. Fact.
That's on the government side. That's on the government side. We are also reaching out to our traditional leaders to take this initiative.
Good.
Because Most traditional leaders have access to land. We have started a pilot in Modakeke. We are having another pilot also in Kogi State, working with the royal father to say, Daddy, bring land and we will bring the technology, we will bring the funding, and we will bring the market. And we will empower your youth in your community. The royal father in Modakeke has bought into this. We are working now on a pilot in Modakeke to showcase that you can empower the youth there. They don't need to all run to Ibadan or run to Abuja or run to Lagos, where the job is not there. They can be empowered in your rural community there. Just create a cooperative headed by the king. It's important.
Yes.
You know why?
Yeah, they have in fact, the king have the infrastructure. They have it.
He has the infrastructure, and he has the loyalty and the trust of his people.
Yes.
Because we met a king in somewhere in Oshu State. No, it was in Ishayi. And when people were complaining about security, you know what he told us? He said, Ben, no madman can steal from my farm in this village.
Exactly. Exactly. In fact, they have it. They have the capability. And two things here. Yes, this is good news, because in Nigeria we have how many? I cannot even take the statistics of the number of kings we have in Nigeria today. If this king, many a times they get insulted by the governors because they go to the governors for salaries and some stipend to survive, bringing them so low. If they can take on this initiative, perhaps one of the things I want to be shouting here now, I want to ring this a liberty bell to the king, so free themselves. You can make money, because by the time you organize these farmers and you community farm, the community makes money, you make money. Rather than waiting for governor to give you some money. I saw Wike insulting some kings in his time. You understand? Okowa, in his time, we put all of them together like sitting in their classroom and giving them something to go. They say Governor Sime will come. They all get excited and go because they don't have their own means. If they begin to be productive, this will be a very good thing for the kings to do. And I think it will be a step in the right direction. And guess what? They have the office, like you said, they have the loyalty, and they have the people to go, people that trust them to do this. This is great news. Let's come to one thing, very important. This is my part of it. My people in diaspora are watching me and they're listening to this. Wow. And trust me, they want to come home. We want to put something into Nigeria, but we don't know. We don't have the trust. We don't have the knowledge, or we don't have the time to come home and do this. How can those of us in the diaspora say, I have maybe 3,000, 5,000 pounds, I want to inject it in the business back home? Is this farming the right thing to do?
Now, we have a program that we are also reaching out to Nigerians and non-Nigerians who are interested in the growth in Africa. I said, you can actually invest in Africa without taking the risk in Africa. It is a program we developed over the last 18 years, which we call Assured Invest. So we assure your investment against any loss.
Assured Invest.
Assured Invest. Yes. So your investment is assured because your principal is assured by a vehicle in Western world, the likes of Lloyd's of London, the likes of Prudential of Canada, the likes of AIG in America. We would use an annuity program to insure your principal. Now, let me give you a scenario. Daddy Kris, yes. If I offer you an opportunity to invest in my farm on the condition that your principal cannot be lost, on a worst case scenario, you may not make profit, but the principal you invested cannot be lost because an instrument or an insurance company in the UK has insured that £10,000. Wouldn't you be interested?
I will be. I'm safe.
Exactly.
I'm safe.
You know that the worst case scenario is you will get your £10,000 back.
Yes.
But you are also creating jobs and creating a new design. We encourage diasporans, invest in your village. Don't come to Lagos and invest. Go to your village, because in your village there's land there.
Yes.
In your village there's opportunity there. Grow your boys there. Stop them from running to London. Stop them from running to America. Because there is business
so when
in
we
your
go home,
village.
we can even sleep well. When we go home, we are scared because the boys are hungry.
Exactly. And I read a book where a man says that the poor cannot sleep because they are hungry. But the rich also cannot sleep because the poor are awake. So if the rich wants to sleep, they should provide food for the poor so that they can eat and sleep, so that all of us can sleep.
In fact, thank you, Aduli. For you to know, it was the rich people that introduced the welfare package in Europe. You know, if you don't work in London, they give you some money to eat. Just because they know that if the poor are hungry, their security is at stake. They don't want that. So they give you something to eat so you can rest. You know, because they want to walk freely on the street. Thank you for that. And I think those of us in the diaspora, we definitely, sometimes we cannot retire. We don't have where to retire home. And we say, we don't want to go home. We say, lie. If you have a chance, if you have where to go to, you will go home. And this is an opportunity to actually begin to build home while you are here. Because most of the money we have here, you're a poor man. But this money can make you a rich man in Africa. And I really want us to tap on this opportunity. Anytime I see things like this, especially when it comes to cultivating the land, which is what the Bible tells us to do, I always want to jump on it. Because what you are saying is we should cultivate our land. Because this is the first thing God wants to tell us to do. Benjamin, big question. Because everything we do goes down to the skills. I cannot go into farming without the training. I'm a young man in Nigeria. I want to farm, but I don't have the skills. What kind of training is available for me as a local farmer to be able to at least key into what you are talking about? It's one thing for me to know that my farms are these things are going wrong. What are the safety net there?
For each sector, Daddy, we take time to build the content. Let me use rice again as an example.
All right.
Before we launch this our rice program, we have a partner. You know what he did? He went to Thailand and studied rice farming up to PhD. Came back. Okay. He knew he could not do it alone. He began to sponsor his colleagues and colleagues' children to Thailand. To date, he has sponsored 9 people to Thailand to study rice farming up to master's degree level. So there are 10 of them now working with us, all minimum qualification master's degree, to train our farmers in simple rice farming technique. Let me tell you why Thailand. Today, rice in Thailand is worshipped as a god. You know why? The entire economy of the whole country is built on rice only.
They only do rice.
Rice only. In their rice farm, they get average of between 7 to 8 tons per hectare. We in Nigeria, we get between 3 and 3.8. Which means that with their techniques and their own technology and their own, we can double the production of rice per hectare in Nigeria by just taking training. So working with them, we have packaged training that we can train our farmers. And it's hands-on, not be university, not be classroom training. It's in the farm.
Yes.
It's in the farm. So everybody can take training. So for me, therefore, the farms are demonstration farms. They're not just for producing food. We also use the farm to train our youth. And this is another important thing I want to stress, Daddy. Yes. Anytime you call farmers in Nigeria, you will see old men of 60-something, 50,
I was coming to that.
Something. And my question is, where are the youths? Because when the generation of farmers go, who will feed this country? So we have made farming very interesting for the youth. How? First, we ensure that there is connectivity in the farm so that you can have the farm to check Facebook, to check WhatsApp, to check Twitter while you are in the farm.
Exactly.
Number 2, we train them on how to use modern technologies to farm. The era of cutlass and hoe don't go.
You grab your hands.
So we train them in modern farming technologies using their devices, their tablet as the means of training. Because sometimes, even when disease come, you need to just take the picture, upload it onto a command center. We'll see the disease. And we're in Nigeria, we're asking someone in London, what is the disease? Someone in America, what is the disease? And answers are coming because the world is already connected.
Thank you.
The world is already connected.
Yes.
So using technology, therefore, we can train people remotely. They don't all need to come to Abuja for training. They don't need to come to Lagos for training. We can train them while they are in the villages farming. So you can go to farm in the morning, supervise the work for 2 or 3 hours, come back and enter a classroom session online with your phone, spend another 2 or 3 hours taking knowledge and taking skills. That is a practical training. Not every time certificate. What we are advocating now, Daddy, is certificate, not certificate. It is called certificate.
I need to write that down. Certificate time. This is
certificate. That is what we're advocating now. Asabiam. Asabiam. Not certificate, no.
Nigeria.
It is certificate, yes.
Yes, I like that. I like this new language added to the English dictionary today. It's the Nigerian English dictionary. In case you don't know, do you have the certificate to do this job? Because in the UK, they look for your experience. We don't care about your paper. We say, what experience have you got to do this? It's not how much degree you got, because the degree is in the school. It stays there. Come on, show me your certificate. Thank you, sir. And young people, in fact, this is the key. The old people cannot farm as the young people can do. Young people are not encouraged. They are not motivated. They don't see the future in farming, so they don't want to farm. So how do we really motivate them to farm? That is a big one you've done there. And so I'm going to come to one thing that's always disturbed me. Nigeria is made of 36 states. 36 states. 700 and something local government areas. These are functioning governments that could at least ease if they can key into what you have just planned. Or I'm going to say, how do you plan to incorporate or even invite the state? Because the federal government is going to do their own part. It is imperative, or it is important for the states to also see this. Let me take a case of Niger State. Niger State, for instance, the landscape of Niger State is larger than Holland, the Netherlands. Netherlands generate 20 billion from agricultural export yearly. Niger State, the people are going to bed hungry. How do you actually challenge and motivate the government or the governor of Niger State to say this is the right thing to do? You don't need to wait for only oil to come from the federal government or allocation from federal government to feed your people. They can make money at home.
Okay, that is some data about Nigeria will shock you. Now that you mentioned Niger State, let me shock you.
Okay.
The entire eastern states of Anambra,
okay,
Enugu,
okay,
Abia,
okay,
Imo,
okay,
and Ebonyi State, 5 states can enter Niger State.
Say it again, sir. Say that again.
The entire 5 eastern states of Enugu State, Anambra State, Imo State, Abia State, and Ebonyi State, 5 states can enter Niger State. In terms of landmass.
Yes.
I have driven in Niger State for 4 hours. 4 hours, Daddy. Left and right, no house. Flat bed land.
Veggie land.
Flat bed land. And yet, we cannot turn that into an asset. So, we have said it before. We are starting with some pilot states. We're working with Kogi State. We're working with Delta State. We're working with Shu State. We're working with Kwara State. These are our 4 pilot states.
Okay.
And what we're telling the governors is simple. Give us 20,000 hectares of land scattered in the whole state.
Yes.
We would mobilize 10,000 farmers in your state to farm these 20,000 hectares.
Hi.
And in 3 years, your internal IGR, if you not grow by 100%, come and hold us.
What an assurance. What an assurance.
I repeat it again. Because if you know the value chains that this job will create for us, because let's take rice just as an example.
Yes.
You are planting rice. Rice millers are there. Harvesters are there. Now, let me shock you. Let me shock you again.
Okay.
There is an Indian company called Hawks Power Systems Limited.
Horsepower. Okay.
Hawks Power Systems Limited. Google it, that you will see their name. Do you know what they do?
Okay.
They use rice hawks to generate power in rural areas.
Really?
I'm giving you raw data, Daddy. Their raw material for generating power is rice hawks and any other hawks that can be found, be it maize, be it. So as we are building cluster rice farms,
yes,
we are inviting them to come and be putting power centers where power is generated in rural villages to power the rural economy. Nothing can be better than that. So it's beyond just food. It's beyond just food, you know. We can also use the byproduct of agriculture to generate biomass for power in rural areas. Integrated rural economy that does not depend on Abuja for stipends, because that money that they go collect for Abuja, that's now stipend. You know, it's not reach anything.
Exactly. No, but you're right. Imagine a king waiting for governor to give him 5 million. When the king can generate 200 million from his community, he's begging government for 2 million. And the land, God gave you land, God gave you a kingdom to run. What are you doing with it? God will bless you. Now, I'm gonna come back again. Let's just be meticulous. I want to look at some of the things you do. Other than rice, what are the products you have in place, or what does it cut across every product? Right now, what do you really have? So if I want to go into this, I'll be thinking straight now. Do I want to go into animal farming? Do I want to do this crop farming? What are the things you have in place that you've already, because your knowledge of rice is amazing. And is there any other product like that?
For this year, we are focusing on 3 crops: rice, maize, and cassava for industrial production. But on a smaller scale,
yes,
if you know other things you can do, there's something they call bag farming. Even in your backyard, you can farm.
Yes.
There was something I saw in Switzerland when I went to Switzerland. From Geneva to Lausanne by train, left and right in a farm.
Yes, of course.
When I go to Lausanne, there's what they call homestead farming, where every corridor, every small space, vegetable did there, pepper did there, spinach did there.
Yes.
All of this, but in Nigeria, we go get plenty land, go put interlocking, seal up this. Oh God.
Exactly. In fact, thank you. And you know the truth, you know the funniest thing, they go and plant some strange flowers. What else you could have used something you could eat as your flower? To form to give you if you need the oxygen, plant things. Oh my God. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Wow.
So it is education. So we also have an educational platform which we call Liberty Hub International Limited, where we train you to think as an entrepreneur, because that is the future. Our mumu don't do. You hear me so?
Yes.
Our mumu don't do. There are so many things you can do in your house, in your backyard, that can be bringing extra income for you. And you can earn extra income from side farming, apart from your commercial farming. We will train you on so many things you can do within our Liberty Hub International Network, on small things you can do to create money. Because it is when you produce that you can be rich. It is not by begging. Begging not they make you rich. Oh.
No. In fact, it's not by prayer too. God don't give us land. They don't bless us finish. What do they ask God for? God bless you. You see, Benjamin, you see, they are civil servants. They're watching now, and they're going to say they're going to be mad at us. But I'm going to say this to them. You are sitting at home waiting for a salary of 40,000, 60,000, 70,000, 80,000 in your own life. That money cannot pay your rent. It cannot pay your child. Come on. But your father have a land that is wasting. Listen to what Benjamin is saying. Benjamin, I have a small garden in my house. Just give me some small 1 or 2 ideas you think I can do. At least just something there that instead of just letting the place to wait, I can just cultivate a little thing. And I know it will be waste of time for your structure, but what can, just for somebody for subsistence farming, what can I do?
See, when we went to school those days, bros, we were told that we need land to farm, Abi?
Yes. That's what they told us.
Bro, there's something called soilless farming now.
That is the fair one, though.
Farming
without soil.
Farming without soil. Soilless farming. Even yam can be grown without soil, Daddy. Yam. That yam where the chop can be farmed without soil.
Where the yam will grow go? Not be ground today.
Yam. Not only what?
Technology. If you're just joining us, I'm on the one-on-one with a guru in the agricultural sector. It is wrong to call him a farmer. I don't know what to call this man. He has it all. And when you hear him talks, he talks from a point of knowledge that the language, one thing he taught us today is certificate. Do not come to any job and say, this is my certificate. No, we want to know what you sabi. Now the certificate now we need now. We don't want to see your certificate because the certificate has not done any good thing for Nigeria. And where we are, we've been analyzing the different kind of farming, and he was just telling us, it's coming back, that there is only one thing you need to know. And I'm going to, yes, I know it's coming back. There's one thing he wants us to know, that you can actually farm without a son. That was the area I was in. And I was also, don't forget, the other part of the interview before I let him go will be a situation where I now talk about the food that has been produced. How do we preserve it? Because that is one of the things he identified at the beginning of this interview. So that are the two areas we'll be looking at on this one-on-one show. I know he will be right back, but before he comes back, let me use the opportunity to just say, let's go on a very quick, short break, and I will not make it long. You know, we like to stay long on interview on this one, but we just take a short break. I will be right back. Don't go away.
Are you tired of endless search for the perfect property? Look no further. Let SRTV Real Estate be your trusted partner in the journey to finding your dream home.
We can offer you a dream home in a serene environment and beautiful ambience, surrounded with modern nature. That's definitely what you crave for. Well, you asked for it, and here we have it. Why not live the best of your dreams by making good with time, space, and value? The smartest form of real estate investment is that which is done at the initial public offer.
Join the long list of satisfied clients who have chosen SRTV Real Estate for all their property needs. We pride ourselves in turning your dreams into homes.
Act today. Secure your slice of a palace, even on a flexible payment plan, and embark on a journey towards a brighter tomorrow. Your dream is valid, living in a place of fabulous wealth and great opportunities. Don't compromise the standards of living. Explore the world of vast opportunities by investing in SRTV Real Estate today. Superb location, habitable, accessible, attractive, and a secret to every smart investor. For your real estate, SRTV is trusted and reliable.
Contact us today with the number on the screen or
email us at realestate@superiorradioandtelevision.com.
Welcome back, people. This is One-on-One with Daddy Kris, and I've been privileged to be in the presence of greatness. His name is Benjamin ADULI. He is not just a guru in farming. He's passionate. He wants to deliver. He wants to help us. And you see, there's something I say about business. When you go into a business for the purpose of making money alone, it makes no sense. But when you have some moral, when it has some for aims to grow community, that is when it has value. And that is what we see today. We are with a very wonderful gentleman who has been talking us through how farming can do. And he used one word, certificate. You write it down, please. What is certificate? When you finish this interview, please go and write it down somewhere. We're not interested in certificate. But I'm still with him. He's not gone yet because there's so many areas. He was telling us about something very important. It is talking about, what do you call it? Soilless farming. I want to bring him back quickly. Welcome back, sir. Now we look alike now. They've been oppressing you. Now everything is said. This is the studio we're supposed to have. Unfortunately, we had a little bit of technical issue. Now we are back for what it is, really. So back to what we're talking about. You talked about soilless farming. Talk us through that. Because I think that is something that maybe if you don't even have a soil, you can do something within your house, within your garden. Because I know that children grow marijuana in UK. They grow it at home. Maybe that's what you're talking about. Talk us through it, sir.
Soilless farming is the technology that where you can farm without the soil. In Ogun State, there's already a school there. It's called a Soilless Lab, where you can send your children. You can get trained for 3 months or 6 months. You will see that yam are farmed without the soil. Vegetables are farmed without the soil. Other kinds of products are farmed without the soil. You just need to understand what the crop is looking for. The water is sprinkled on the crop at the right time. The roots of the crops are in water. And all the nutrients you can get from the soil, you can get from water. That's what they call soilless farming. So even when you don't have land, you can farm. Greenhouse is there. Conditioned farming is there. So even this story of, I don't have land, is all history. That was in the olden days. Today, you can farm anywhere.
Benjamin, now let's talk to one issue you identified squarely at the beginning. Very important. Preservation of our products. I know you're telling us that you will be buying most of the stock. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the time that we need Benjamin mostly. If the network in Abuja is going to keep doing this, we're gonna really deal with them today because it's time. They should better give us the phone because maybe the phone is going to be back. If they cannot give us one network for 1 minute, then we're going to be really angry with them right now. Well, just as you've heard, he talked us through the in and out. If you really want to know about farming, one thing you must not run away from. That's why in the course of my conducting this interview, I try to ask the difficult question. For young people, this is your future. Yes, I know the modern technology coming abroad. I saw on Guardian today, I didn't have time to join them with the newspaper review, where young girls are sent to the UK, to not the days of slavery anymore, not the time of prostitution, but they are deceived that they come here to do care work. When they get here, there's no job for them. They cannot complain because they are afraid of being deported. And so they are here suffering. These are people with degree, with things that can do well at home, but they are here. And you know what is so surprising me? The amount of money they spent on the journey. You paid for a journey of about 11 million and your ticket, and you have all the things. You gather all your family things and you come down here. I am saying that if you invest that money at home wisely, you'll be doing better than everybody in the UK. We are here. We want to come home. We want to come home. And you are there trying to come here. No, I refuse. I'm saying that be informed. Have this information so you make the right decision. I know you wouldn't want to hear me out because you see I'm hearing one thing. It's all better. It looks glorious. Yes, it looks glorious. Let me tell you one thing about Europe. We stay in Europe. We know the truth. The car you see us driving, we've not paid for it. Our houses are on mortgage. We don't live the same time they live in Nigeria. We live on mortgage here. Nobody, if you go see somebody who already bought his own house, it's rare. So anyway, I'm going to quickly have my guest back. I'm just trying to disturb you a little bit until I have him back. But the most important thing today, really, for me, is also really looking at this very important issue. How do we preserve the food we have? That was something you identified at the beginning. Because I know you said you can be able to buy the ones that are organized. Like, well, supposing I now produce something and I really want to go, listen, I may not even be able to go into the beginning of it. I live in Europe and I want to get those food to Europe because that's one area I'm looking at. How do we even, because we need to be exporters of agricultural products. Holland, we must imitate Holland. We must start selling food, organic food. That's what they don't have. They might be able to produce all kind of food. We will be producing organic food to sell in Europe at a higher price. We'll come to that. But tell us first, what's your plan? What in your structure? How is your preservation method?
All right. That goes back to our initial arrangement again, cluster farming. Now, once we have the cluster farming, then it's easier for us to then invest in critical infrastructure for post-harvest management. That's the problem. So post-harvest management is critical. Once you know what you are harvesting, then you invest in infrastructures that can manage these when you harvest. Things like crates, things like cold room, things like refrigerated trucks. These are critical infrastructure that are dedicated to agricultural management. Because you cannot use a truck that you use to carry fuel, to carry food. It doesn't work that way. You contaminate the food. So we are therefore working with some government agencies and some private individuals to also develop another solution again, which we call food drive. Food drive now is a specialized network of vehicles that focus on transporting food and food only, without transporting any other type of thing. So it's a specialized transport network that will transport our food right from the farm gate where they are farmed to the cities. And it's a dedicated network. It is a project we are doing in partnership with some government agencies. And these vehicles will have specialized number plates so that police do not stop them on the road, or any town do not stop them on the road and now begin to disturb them and the food are wasted. So they should be treated as national critical infrastructure to move our food from the hinterlands where they are cultivated to the cities where they are needed.
Very, very important. Now, that is in terms of distributing the food, which is really important as well. You know, I know you've been talking with the federal government, and I'm sure you have spoken with some of the states. My concern was when this whole story came out that Nigerians don't have food, people can't go to bed, things are very expensive. The first question that came to my mind is, don't we have a food bank? I mean, as a government, if you don't have a food bank, somebody will go to war and we don't have a place to go to farm. Are we going to die the same day? That is a government that is so reckless not to really keep some food for rainy days. You know, and so what I would want to say is that how do you plan to work with government too? Because you are serving the nation, the responsibility comes down on you. How do you plan to work with government to preserve some food for rainy days? Because what happened now is that food, maybe they stop importation of one food and then we don't have food to eat tomorrow. How can we live in a society like that?
You see, food is a national security issue. It is a national security issue. And
thank you, sir.
I'm happy that the present president sees that and has taken agriculture into the purview of National Security Council. Because rainy day will come. If you don't preserve food, you're in trouble. So you saw the embarrassment that happened recently in Nigeria, where Ukraine that was fighting war is the person that sent us some food. What kind of insult is that? So that tells you that they have a food preservation system and have a food bank. Well, in Nigeria, we have been having food bank. We don't know where the food is. We don't. Even when you talk about National Grain Reserve, what is the content of the grain reserve? We don't know. But yes, there are strategic grain silos. Some of them have been privatized or concessioned to private people. We work with an association of private concessionaires. There are about 28 silos across the country. Kenneth Ahaneko is the chairman or the president. In fact, I'd like to bring him onto this program so that you need to hear to what they have.
Yes.
But most of these silos are empty. That's the truth. They are empty. So we are taking advantage of that so that when we are also farming, a percentage of it goes into the National Grain Reserve so that we can have some buffer just in case there's a problem. So we're already discussing with the Office of the Special Advisor on President on Agriculture. We are going to extend that to the Ministry of Agriculture and then also go to the state. This idea of anytime we talk federal is supposed to be a coordinating body, not the one doing it. The emphasis should be on the state level because they are the ones on ground.
Agree.
The state should be more involved in producing this food and storing it in the state. You see, I had something ago when the state, another state said, no, we have not eaten, we cannot be exporting another state. That is a challenge to every state. That you self grow your own food.
Exactly.
Don't be dependent on us to provide for you.
Why are you waiting for the other one?
Exactly. So if every state now is farming seriously, there will be surplus. Then you can see what government can mop up to preserve. At this point now, we know seafood chop. Why you want to take safe? So the first thing first is production. When there is no increased production, then you can be talking about how you are going to store the excess one.
Now, for those of you that just joined us, I'm going to have him regularly on the show as they march on this journey to deliver Nigeria from hunger. I said this Operation Save Nigeria from Hunger. That is what I call it. That is what he started. But before we can ever let you go, I know people have been waiting. They've been burning. They want to hit me up. They want me to ask you one question. Farmers can't go to farm because of insecurity in Nigeria today. Insecurity is now a part of our culture. Oh, the man go to farm. Oh, herdsmen do this. Oh, this one did this. Some of them, they lie against herdsmen. Some of them are real herdsmen. What is the security plan to save this big plan you have from being bastardized by some set of people who call themselves herdsmen or some local people who are actually villagers who turn themselves into criminal, calling themselves herdsmen?
The solution to that might shock you.
Okay.
The solution to that is community policing. Community policing. Now, I told you we are working with some royal fathers in some communities. And the royal fathers are organizing their boys into vigilante, into some kind of communities. And you know, when you have clusters of farms, it's easier for you to now invest in some security architecture to protect it.
Agree.
Now, I don't want to discuss too much details about our security architecture, but we have had to invest in private securities, working with some government agencies to protect our farm because they are our assets. We cannot invest billions into farming, and then we not allow anybody to take advantage of it. No. We are investing in drones. We are investing in night vision cameras. We are investing in specialized training from some military and some security agencies who will train our security operators, which we will call agro rangers.
Agro rangers. This man have a way of giving me the right word, though. Agro. Have you heard of it? Agro rangers.
So these agro rangers will become our farm guards, and they'll be equipped with the right equipment to be able to protect the farms. And we guard the farms day and night. Once they see any danger, they just press one button in their phone. It is triggered in the command center. Our drones will move in, taking cameras and pictures of what is happening in that vicinity. And as it's taking cameras, it's feeding it pictures, it's taking it back to our command center. so that we can see what's happening, so that nobody can lie to us and say, oh, because sometimes too, some of these reports about fishermen, political, some of them should not be true.
I know, that's what I said. I said some community call themselves.
Thief, we don't thief the food. They go say, oh, nah, this person do it. So we therefore, so it is critical, therefore, that our farms are in clusters in a way that it becomes easier for us to then invest in security architecture to guard and protect the farm, because those farms are our asset, they are our life, they are our bank, they are things that will feed our generations. So we will be willing to.
In fact, for those of you that just joined us, his name is Benjamin Aduli. He's the VCO, the Vision. You see, that's time when I say CEO. No, Vision Executive Officer. That's what we call it, not the Chief Executive Officer. He's the Vision Executive Officer of this multi-farming initiative that can offer you the farming production and down to farming services. That is what he has put in place. And I know he's right here with me. He's been telling us all the security architecture they have in place. And I think we've gained a lot, but I'm not going to let him go until I ask him the final question. Are you there, sir? Benjamin, are you there? Okay. I need to know the final question, which I guess you all need to know too. How do we incorporate this plan? Can you hear me, sir? Sir Benjamin? Okay, it's like you can't hear me. Okay, how good the sound? Oh, and I can hear you. I cannot hear you. You can't hear me. All right. Too bad. I'll try and wait until maybe he's going to hear me. The sound going to pick up. Or I will go and come back. Let them see what they can do with that. There's one more question we need to ask Benjamin if we have the opportunity to do so today. The question is, we have universities, we have training institutions in Nigeria. Now it is good news to go to Malaysia to learn how to produce rice on this massive scale. But for me, it's a shame on the Nigerian system, on the Nigerian universities, if our graduates cannot really be useful at this stage of this difficult time. Maybe it's not even the fault of the graduate. It's about applying the knowledge that they need to study in school into the farm, like we call the certificate, and also bringing this right technology to the universities. Because if you're not trained, you don't have it. You can't give what you don't have. Maybe our universities are not really equipped. Yeah, I can hear you guys now. Can you hear me? But I could hear Mary talking, but now I cannot hear people in the background. Well, I'll wait. I really want to see how this is going to work. You know why this is so close to my heart? I came up with something I said for my own people. I call it the Rural Agricultural Development Project. The plan is really to how do we come together as a people and save ourselves from hunger. It's like I was projecting the future. I can see the future. The future is now. Today, there's no food in Nigeria. Government is threatening, like the gentleman said, food is a national security issue. Because when there's hunger in the land, there's going to be issues. And as soon as you can hear me, I'll bring you back in, sir. Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Oh, wonderful. So my last question is, after this, I'll let you rest because I'm bringing you back on this show. We're going to have this regularly. Most important for me now is we have universities, we have schools, training young people in agriculture. They graduate every year. Are these people fit for purpose? How do we add some of this good knowledge, like what they pick from Malaysia, into our university system, so tomorrow we can be dependent on our own institution for training the people for what you're doing?
I think we need to we give our curricular content for our agric institution. We're already talking to the department in the Federal Ministry of Agriculture called the Cooperative Federal Directorate of Cooperative. They are the ones who oversee all the colleges of agriculture nationwide. When Audope was the minister, he pulled them out of Ministry of Education and brought them back under the Ministry of Agriculture. So today, all federal universities of agriculture, colleges of agriculture nationwide are no longer under the Ministry of Education. They are under the Ministry of Agri. And the objective is, it has to be practical. Agri is not about book in the class. It's about practical thing in the field. So
the certificate.
So it is certificate. You must appear. It is not certificate. It is certificate. So what I say therefore is now let me even take it another step. I don't know when you left Nigeria, but you know that our first generation universities, the likes of OAU, the likes of UI, the likes of Uniben, the kind land where they have that they amassed, those lands are still empty and idle, doing nothing. Till tomorrow. Some of themselves invested in fencing the land and they live on idle. So I'm saying, can't we use these lands to become demonstration farms?
Amen.
So that these children, while they are in school, can be farming to feed themselves and to feed the nation. If you go in Soka, the same thing. If you go Agowoye, the same thing. If you go to Matibolo University in Zaria, the same thing. All the universities have massive land doing nothing. As a national emergency, I think the government should mandate them to farm with those lands. Let all the children who are in school go back to farm, especially those ones that have within agri-related courses. That way, they can begin to farm while in school. That's special education. We are working with another organization called Young Farmers Network. A friend of mine is their president. I think I will also invite him to the show. They have over 1 million youths nationwide who are working to now recreate what we used to call Young Farmers Club. When I was secondary school, there used to be Young Farmers Club, where students at secondary school level are trained to farm. In my school, in Adaibo Secondary School in Agwashuku, every student had a farmland allocated to him.
We do.
When
we had our own farm garden.
You are not in class, you are in your farm.
That's it.
Part of your exam is to show what you harvested from your farm. Your headmaster will come and watch it and come and score it and see what you farm. Then half of it belongs to you, half belongs to the school. That was in secondary school. What happened to all of those ideas?
Oil money. Oil money became a poison.
Oil money and devil money became the problem.
Yes.
So we need to go back to training our young ones to become practical farmers and contribute to this food ecosystem. So at a very young level, secondary school, tertiary institution, polytechnic, college of education, they should all be involved in this process so that we can have a truly food secured nation.
Thank you, sir. And I'm not going to disturb you. I'm going to take you only one more question and I will let you go. Then we really need to do more of this because Nigerians need you. We need you because sometimes, you see, my people perish for lack of one thing, knowledge. And that's what you're giving to us today. And you don't know what you've done. You've given us something to live with, to live on. Because, I'm going to close it up, I'm going to say this. Nigerians know that there was a time we know our education system is not functional. So we came up with a new system of education, which is the 6334. I'm a trained teacher. They were training some people on technical education to bring some technical skill to the kids at a very early age. That was something we went through. Now, an issue as important as agriculture, because from your analysis, the land is there, the people, the peasant farmer is there, the knowledge is still lacking because we're still doing the farm of hoe and all those cutlass. It's not going to work in the 21st century. So there is a gap. And it's a shame today that I don't know, maybe you can tell me, do we have universities or colleges of agriculture across the country? dedicated to training young people who come out and say, yes, I'm a farmer. This is the kind of things I can do. Not the one they study in university. Let me put it this way. Most of the things, if you get some those things they teach in university, most of those lecturers, they are even outdated. They went to school when the time is not now. So there's a time to upgrade. So there's need for a university of agriculture or colleges of agriculture across the 36 states of the country to breed farmers. I mean, breed 21st century farmers. Do we have that in place?
Yes, we have universities of agriculture, we have colleges of agriculture, we have them scattered across the country, but they do not have modern equipment and modern knowledge.
Same thing. They have certificate, they don't have certificate.
So they have certificate, they do not have certificate. So what we need to do is to ensure that these universities go into partnership with private sectors like us to have demonstration farms.
Yes.
Now, let's take a step further. Our research institutions are moribund, Ross. As I speak to you, NIFO, all of us now that now bended. You remember NIFO?
Yeah, NIFO is where they took.
If you enter NIFO now, shadow of himself. If you enter Yanumo, Robert Research for Edo State, a shadow of himself. If you enter even some research institute, one day for Ibadan, one day for Niger State, all of them, they are not well funded. Because even those who are running institute themselves do not even understand how to make money out of the knowledge they have created. So it's a whole network that requires to be rigid, especially in the content and research level, because we're talking of multi-billion-dollar industry lying comatose. So there had to be a connection between the research institutions and the private sector, so that the private sector can finance research, so that whatever comes out from that research goes back to the farm to enhance the farming. That connection needs to be built so that they can be feeding that into the private sector to improve for the private sector from the research that you are doing. Not every time you go to Abuja, government should come and give you money, government should come and give you money. What are you producing in return back for government? That question needs to be asked.
Thank you. And I think the government is hearing.
Yes. So government needs to also begin to put some benchmark. What are the deliverables? We are putting together a program. I'm working with a partner to take Nigerian universities, Nigerian agriculturists, to the foremost agricultural university in the UK, Harper University.
Mm-hmm.
That program is coming on.
Okay.
To show our people, look at what your colleagues are doing in the UK. It's an agricultural university.
Yes.
You yourself, an agricultural university, compare yourself to this people of the same grade. What are you producing back to the society as an agricultural institute? Because we are at a point now where it is obvious that we have failed in feeding ourselves. Let us begin to build the entire ecosystem so that the knowledge can be transferred to the younger generation, and the younger generation can then begin to produce food for the older ones to eat. As it is today, it is the older people who are feeding the younger ones, because the old men depend for Nigeria. Young ones live for Abuja and Lagos and on the street, on social media. We need to go back to the farm. That is where we started from. And that is where we have low-hanging fruits that we can turn into wealth.
Thank you very much, Sir Benjamin Aduli. If I have the authority, I'll be calling you from now. You know what Queen did? He said, from today, you are Sir so. God will bless you for this. In fact, we're going to have more of these shows. Today, it's a little bit of, we started very roughly. We got it right at the end. That's how it's going to be. And we're going to keep doing this. The most important thing is you've given us the knowledge. You've given us the technology. And in this day and age, it's not time to slack at all. The private sector, the government, and we, the people, need to really embrace the new way of doing things. Farming is a good thing, man. I said to Nigeria, if I'm in Nigeria, I must have my farm. Why would I go and work for somebody who's going to pay me peanut? I have my own farm. This is what I keep praying, I keep preaching to the younger people. But it's difficult because they can see people driving some flashy cars. So I'm going to ask the question with the final answer. This way, maybe I'm going to ask you what you think. The government of Nigeria, they don't use our homemade card. We have innocent, they don't use it. We lack patriotism at all levels. Now, do Nigerians even respect homemade food? In fact, if you have your own product, made rice in Nigeria, would they embrace it? Would they respect it? Or they still want to get the chicken that is killing them, giving them cancer from abroad?
Now, that is one thing that the previous administration did right, which we have not celebrated it today. Because by the time the previous administration did that, it required a madman to do what the past president did when President Buhari closed the border for almost 8 years. There are two things that happen from that action. Take rice, for example. The Nigerian test board for rice has switched 360 degrees. Nigerians now prefer to eat local rice than imported one. It is so bad now that we now have a new nomenclature, imported local. You know what that means?
Yes.
It means that they are now branding local rice as imported.
As foreign rice.
They bring the bag, put local rice inside, and sell them as imported rice.
Yes.
Which is also bad because we're supposed to promote our brand. So when it comes to taste board, Nigerians now know that local rice are more nutritious, taste better, and it is no longer seen as a poor man when you buy local rice.
Good.
But before, if you buy local rice, it was in a poverty they worry you. But now, that has changed. Secondly, the milling capacity of Nigeria has increased because many Nigerians now invested in several rice mills across the country to mill local rice. So the challenge now is there are mills, but there are no rice to mill. So what we need to do now is
to give them rice.
Invest in farming the rice so that they can get the rice paddy to mill. That is a whole industry waiting to close up. Jobs will be created, value added will come, and even the shaft, the hose from the rice,
use to generate electricity.
Use again to generate power.
Hi.
Now, let me tell you something else. Because when we talk about farming rice, most of us are only thinking of rice as the byproduct. That's not lie, yo. There are 4 different byproducts that comes out of rice. There is rice bran. There is rice husks. There is rice oil. Then there is the rice itself.
Those are products.
Those are 4 byproducts that comes out from farming rice and processing it. 4. Rice itself will come out. Rice husk will come out. Rice bran will come out. And then rice oil.
Wow.
In Asia, rice oil is more expensive than palm oil.
Okay. Have you heard the news, people? Oh my God. Have you heard the news?
After this program, Daddy, go to internet and Google rice oil. You'll be shocked what you will see.
Okay.
So it's an industry that is waiting to blossom if we do the right thing now.
Listen, Benjamin, listen, we're going to end the show today here. It's exactly 80 minutes into the show. Thank you very much for coming to the studio. Please, we're going to do this again and again. I want to have some really moments with you and some of your colleagues. to throw more light on this, and it would be nice, because Nigerians are hungry. We know this is what we need, and even the government cannot help us. You've helped us enough, and please do not be discouraged. There are some callings that are not the ones that say come and sit at the altar and preach, because those ones that the callings of our pastors, we know what they're doing with it today. So please, this is a calling. It is important for us, and please, the amount of knowledge you've gotten, pass it on, because this is one thing our parents didn't do. They didn't pass on some of the things. Today we're dying of some diseases which they know how to cure. Today is killing us. That is wrong. Please, let's pass this knowledge on. Don't be tired. Just know that you're not doing it for yourself alone. You're not doing it to make money alone. You're doing it for a nation and for a particular set of people. You're saving lives. Thank you very much for coming on the show today. And
Thank you very much.
Yes, I want to have you again and again, like I said. But that is where we're going to end the show today. People, it's been a wonderful time. This is one-on-one with Daddy Kris. This is where I bring you the people you need to meet. Last time I brought you a lady, Nigerian women in mining, knowledgeable lady, and this is an expert in agriculture. That is what my show is all about, where I bring you what you need to know. Daddy Kris, I always say one thing. There are some people that bring you the show you want to see. I bring you the show you should see. It might not be so exciting, but I think this is the kind of show you should see. That's where I draw the curtain today. My name is Daddy Kris, and this is one-on-one on SRTV. Next time you have this again and again as you come in, because I have the guests and I just bring them in. But it will be structured well. My studio in Abuja, they are doing their things. They tell me when to do and I do it. And I obey the law. That's where I end the show. Stay out of trouble. Nigeria must not go to bed hungry. Our state governors will do their bit. The local government must do their bit. The federal government will do their bit. The private sector, as you see, must do their bit. We, the people, we need to do our own bit. It's a sin to go to bed hungry. Now, you might think it doesn't concern you. What about? You can blame your parents. Now, what are you passing on to the children? So the same thing you talk about your parents, you talk about the government, is the same thing they will be blaming us. Let us all do our own part. We all have responsibility to do here. And I know if we come together, we can do it. That's why I end the show. Stay out of trouble, and God bless you.
At SRTV Film Academy, our students are not just learners. Through our comprehensive programs and hand-on trainings, they are transformed into confident and skilled professionals ready to face the world of filmmaking and journalism. We offer a range of courses from film acting to cinematography, costume and makeup design, special effects, script writing, directing, and lots more. Take the first step to unleashing your potentials on the big screen. Do well to register with us today. Remember, there is always a professional way to doing everything.
Acting is my true passion. I can't wait to dive into the beautiful world of character interpretations. The ability to step into someone else's shoes, feel what they feel, bring their stories to life is an exhilarating experience for me. SRTV Film Academy has a comprehensive curriculum that will help me refine my acting skills, explore different acting techniques, and of course, help me find my unique voice as an actor. I am so ready to take on any role, embrace any challenge, and make my impact in the world of film.
Cinematography has always fascinated me, and I am thrilled to be able to hone my skill at SRTV Film Academy, and I can already envision myself behind camera capturing, electrifying, breathtaking shots that will leave the audience in awe. Yeah, for real.
Being a part of SRTV Film Academy means I get to take my love for makeup to a whole new level. Special effects makeup is like magic, I tell you. Allow me to create scars, wounds, and fantastic creatures. I can't wait to learn to use the art of prosthetic to create imaginary world. And all hands on deck and guidance from professionals at SRTV Film Academy will help refine my skill and turn my passion into a career. I'm eager to unleash my creativity and make a lasting impression in the world of film and television.
As someone who is passionate about reporting and journalism, I am more than thrilled to be part of this prestigious academy. I can't wait to learn how to effectively communicate or engage with viewers through reporting and storytelling.
SRTV Film Academy Abuja, enroll today! We're gonna shoot you!